Another thing I was fascinated with this particular piece was the shadows.
I really want to talk about the diversity of this program that you are showing us, and I want to start by talking about the middle act. First off, shout out, congratulations, I think, for finding the work of 2 female choreographers in the ballet world that you're interested in showing, so I'm delighted to see that. Susan Stroman, you commissioned that work. Can you talk about how that came about?
Yeah, it's actually sort of an interesting story. I was initially going to plan a comedy program for the, I know that sounds funny, you're like, really? So, a comedy program, and I talked to Susan Stroman about a piece that she had made for the New York City Ballet called Double Feature. I don't know if you've seen that. It's a fantastic comedy, but she said, do you have a lot of money? Because it's going to cost you a lot of money to do that. And I said, no, we don't have a lot of money. And she said, what if I just choreograph something specifically for you that has comedy in it? And I said, okay, that would be just fine. So she came out, she spent about 2 weeks with us, and she was so efficient, she had so much down. She brought a sort of Broadway dance captain that she'd worked with, and she brought a former ballet dancer, so the process was so fast. But she was charmed by the company, she worked so well, dancers had a great relationship with her, and I thought it was a nice little gem of a piece.
The thing that's so interesting about it in comparison to some of the other works on the program is exactly that sort of lighthearted theatricality. Were your dancers prepared for that?
I think so. You know, we looked hard for a tapper. We had a great original tapper. Christian actually is, he was just an apprentice, wasn't he, last year? But he came to my office, he's quite shy, I hope he's left, and he was like, just so you know, I can really tap. So.
The duet, which is such a poignant work, Elizabeth, maybe you could talk about, I mean, this week is the first performances by Pacific Northwest Ballet of this beautiful before-after. It's sort of a very naked, exposed piece. Could you talk about what it's like to perform that work?
I think it's a really beautiful piece, and I really loved working with Annabelle on it, and I think you know, she had a lot of subtleties that she really wanted to be translated, and in the beginning movement, when you first walk out, it's like meeting someone, and I think it was important for it to be honest and to let your guard down and let yourself be a little vulnerable on stage. I don't know, when it's dark, it doesn't seem like anyone's watching.
So it feels sort of private up here?
It does. I don't know why.
So you brought her in to set the work. And she originally made this piece on Dutch National Ballet, and you brought her in to set it on you.
Yeah, Annabelle had been with us once before. She did a ballet called Cylindrical Shadows, and also a good experience with the dancers. I know Annabelle has performed the piece herself. Did you see her perform it? No. She's an amazing performer, really invests a lot in that. But I thought she would be the best person to set it, and she was also available, which was great. It was last May, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, we started it last May.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
Peter, I was thinking that that you may have that there might be a difference for you, the taste of what you wanted to dance and the taste of you as artistic director, and if those things maybe bleed in a little bit, that you see some work and you think, oh, that would be really fun to dance, versus what you think as artistic director, you know, you want to bring to the audience or might make a nice program, and if they're ever in conflict with one another.
Interestingly, initially, the first ballets that I programmed, they're all works that I either loved dancing or wished I danced and didn't get to dance. So I always wanted to dance the work of Nacho Duato, but I didn't get a chance to. So at least I can make sure that Liz gets to dance it. But I also think it's important when you invest in a choreographer to continually return to that choreographer, not only for dancers to have a familiarity with 2 works by Annabelle Lopez Ochoa, but also for an audience to see a body of work. So we have 2 by Duato, and there's been collections of Twyla's work and Jerome Robbins' work and Ulysses Dove, which we brought to the pillow last time. But I think it's better for an audience. Otherwise, they just talk about the one piece, and this way they can talk about the whole body of work, like you wouldn't read one novel by Edith Wharton. You'd read several to understand her gift.
Well, one of the things I remember last summer when Wendy Whalen was here with her Restless Creature project, she talked about that you were the first person that ever gave her, as a dancer, the opportunity to think about works that she might like to dance. And so how is it that you're discovering work? I mean, you're not quite in the same kind of dance hub that you were in New York, where you could just go and see a bunch of stuff. So how are you finding repertory that would be exciting for the dancers or exciting for you?
I try to travel a bit and see more and more performances. I mean, now there's YouTube, which for me isn't enough because I need to sit in an audience to experience it. I can get a preview through what's available, DVD or YouTube. But sometimes it was actually one of our dancers, Noelani Pantastico, that came to me and said, you should know about this company, Kid Pivot. There's this choreographer, Crystal Pite, you might be interested. And I thought, I'll check it out on YouTube. So, but anywhere, anywhere. And actually, Wendy Whalen was the one that directed me to Nacho Duato. So we have her to thank.
Well, good. Let's thank her for that, because that Duato piece. I mean, what a pleasure to see these dancers doing that work, and what a different mood from the opening work. That sort of sense of the balletic body, maybe with the speed turned up a little bit in the Dawson piece, to really grounded a different sense of musicality and all of that momentum.
I think the first piece I don't want to dance because I wouldn't last 2 minutes. But I actually thought that was their element. When I saw that piece, I thought, oh, this will fit. Initially, I thought our women will do so well in that piece. And it felt like Balanchine. It felt like their home. And an extension of that, maybe pushing them a little further. But the Duato, I love ballets, I'm not sure how you feel about this, but ones that go beyond just the physical, beyond the technique, and you feel like there's some sort of investment either intellectually or emotionally into the work, and that was what was the most satisfying.
Can you talk a little bit about how, I mean, that's, again, a completely new sense of moving in that work, and the sense of momentum feels, and circularity feels very different from sort of the shapes and lines that maybe are more familiar from a balletic training, and what it's like to enter that work. Yeah,
I think from coming to PNB and really getting exposed to that, I've come to love it more and more. And seeing them, I've always appreciated works like that, but I wasn't sure if I would fit into it. It was something that surprised me. The more I did it, the more I kind of fell in love with that kind of movement quality, and it is a lot more grounded and kind of smooth and round, and it definitely makes you look at dance in a new way when you start to expose yourself to new types of movement like that, and really invest in the quality and the subtleties, and just find it in your body in a way.
Elizabeth, you came to know PNB by doing a summer program, right? So you left Massachusetts and headed to Seattle. How was it that you thought that's where I should go rather than Boston Ballet or some other program on the East Coast?
Well, I had heard in my younger years that they liked tall dancers, and that they were very like a strong athletic company, and I thought, that's cool. I like that. And then I'd actually seen one of, and I wish it might have been Carrie Brunson was taking open class at Boston Ballet, and I thought that she was really good. So I don't know, I'd heard about it through that, and I had some people tell me, they like tall people, they might like you there, so.
So do you want to say something about the school program? I mean, you've just come off your big summer workshop.
Yeah, it's a great summer program, but the thing was that I was so taken with Elizabeth as a student that we were going to bring her back to be a year-round student, and Ballet West hired her. I was like, the nerve of Ballet West. But then I had to stage a Ulysses Duff ballet. It was a pleasure to stage it for Ballet West, and I ran into her and it's like, how you doing? And then she showed up on our door and auditioned, which was so great. But we lost her for a couple of years, but we got her back.
This is a great question about your vision for the company, because you're coming up on your 10th anniversary, and where are you headed next?
It's so embarrassing. The first thing I thought of was a huge endowment. That's my vision for the company, just money. But actually, I kind of mean that because I think risk is so important, and trial and new and experimentation and opportunities for choreographers. And I worry about a company where we can't take the risk and we have to do something that's safe to make sure that we sell enough tickets to be. So I actually do mean that. I think extending our experimental arm through a broader choreographic initiation program, being able to take a chance on up-and-coming choreographers. We have a number of dancers that like to choreograph, but more of that. I think we do a lot of it already, but I think I want even more.
Changes. Light.
before.